So what are some of your favorite things around here? Show us what we got.
Well, there's about 3,500 artifacts, and to be honest, they're all my favorites, but I have a couple of ones that are particularly of interest. The hockey display over here of the Tacoma Rockets that played here back in the 40s and the 50s. And this jacket is one of the original jackets that they wore back in time. It was worn by Joey Johns. And the interesting story about this item is when I visited with Joey and I was looking for one of the jackets, and he said, well, yeah, we have a jacket. He said, but I wear it when I change the oil and it's dirty and grimy and you don't want that. And I said, no, I am interested in it. And he said, no. He said, Audrey, go get that jacket. She goes and gets the jacket and comes back out. And he was telling the truth. It was so filthy. It was all black, caked with mud and oil. And she said, Audrey, we need to throw that away. And I said, no, if you're going to throw it away, I want it. So they gave me the jacket. I go to Family Cleaners. I take it to them. They get it all cleaned up. I go out to Quality Knitting and show them what I want. And all of this orange, you couldn't even see it. And they sewed it all and put it all back together. So now we come down and we now are having the grand opening. And Joey Johns is here. And he's walking through and he comes to the display case and he says, Mark, that's awesome. You found a jacket. I said, Joey, it's yours. And that was so much fun. He couldn't believe it. So that was a fun one. The other item is the soapbox derby. So Tacoma had a long history of soapbox derby going back to the 1930s. And we have a really neat display of some of the championship trophies. And Tacoma had 2 national champions as well. The one thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to find a soapbox derby racer, and I was not having any luck. So I called the gentleman who was running the National Soapbox Derby event in Akron, Ohio, and he said, you know what, we destroy the top 3 racers from each year, so we don't have those national championship racers that you wanted, but talk to a gentleman and see if he might be able to help you. So I give this guy a call and he says, well, you know what, we're not supposed to have these racers, but I have 12 of them here, and one of them is from Tacoma, and it was from the 1960s, and it won the Best Design Award. And if you want it, you figure a way how to get it out of here, it's yours. So I knew that the News Tribune had been the major sponsor of soapbox derby racing. So I contacted the News Tribune, told them what we wanted to do, and the gentleman said, you know what, we're all in. We'll take care of it. We'll go out, we'll get it shipped and crated out here, we'll even install it. And so there's the racer. Now when we opened up, and this was used by David West and his brother John West, and they were both longtime competitors. And so when they again were here for the grand opening, and they came down and David West saw his racer, he just absolutely flipped out. So that was a lot of fun to get that up there. But you know, lots of fun stories of how we've acquired so many, you know, of the things. You know, the other thing is the Cheney Studs wing, which was sponsored by the Ben Cheney Foundation, and they started back in 1954 sponsoring bowling and hockey and tennis and football and basketball, and Ben Cheney and the foundation did so many fantastic things here in the community. So, you know, to be able to have the old pinstripe uniform, which was symbolic of Cheney Studs teams, that was a fun thing to get. This white jacket here is from the 1960 National Championship Cheney Studs team that when they went back to Battle Creek, Michigan and won. The Cheney Stud Courtiers is a really neat little story. The Cheney Stud Courtiers were boys that were about 11 to 13 years of age, and they were a basketball team very similar to the Harlem Globetrotters, and they would appear and perform before college basketball games at halftime. They went up and down the West Coast and performed at halftime of NBA basketball games, and they did that for several years, and that was really a fun thing to be able to see some of those. So that's what that represents. But very few people really remember that and know what the Cheney Stud Courtiers are all about.